It seems like a simple question, right? It's Monica. She's on the cover of DDLC Plus, she's the main antagonist for a while, she pulls the strings of the original game, and she, of course, is the president of the literature club. So why wouldn't it be her? Well, all that might be true, but whenever the topic of Doki Doki Literature Club comes up, there's one character that jumps into my mind, and it's not just because she's my favorite. I'd argue Sayori is just as important, if not more so, than Monica. Not only does her presence leave a notable mark on the club and the main character, but her death marks a drastic change in the game, throwing you effectively into the psychological horror side of DDLC. Then she ties the game together by becoming self-aware at the end of it all, being the main factor that changes between the normal and good ending. From her beta design to the end of Act 4, what makes Sayori the honorary poster child of DDLC, and why do I and so many other people love her? Hello, and welcome to my observatory. My name is Luminescent, or Luma for short, and today we're talking all about everyone's favorite cinnamon bun. Dan has gone on record saying that Sayori is his favorite Doki, and nothing makes that more evident than her concept art. Originally based on Yui Hirasawa? Originally based on Yui Hirasawa from K-On!, out of everyone, Sayori changed the most from her beta and proto designs, with an added accessory and a hair color shift. Sayori's signature color here is blue, there's no doubt about it, despite many people using other colors like the red of her bow or the coral pink of her hair. All those colors are important to her, yeah, but in the trailer it's made pretty clear her color's blue. Blue's mostly associated with sadness, but can represent open and free things as well. Stuff like the ocean or the sky, things like trust, honesty, commitment, or maybe even predictability, because a lot of people like blue. Fragility, or even depression. Its bittersweet nature aligns nicely with Sayori's preferences and her character, as we'll soon find out. As for her hair, it's specifically coral pink. Now, pink has many associations, and so does the red of her bow. Red is all about love and passion, while pink takes that red and combines it with the innocence of white to make a softer representation of all those ideas, but it adds a hint of nostalgia. In this way, her colors create a contrast that leans heavier into the warmer, nicer tones, rather than the cooler, sadder ones. The red, along with its pink cousin, capture your attention more and distract from the melancholy of the blue. It isn't just that, either. Look at that patented Sayori stance. I mean, the hands are in, for lack of a better term, a submissive position. Sort of like she's handcuffed, which could get across her willingness to put others before herself. Also consider the off-kilter stance here. She was not asked to do this, she totally made that shit up. Then there's the clothing too, open and flowy, just like her personality, punctuated with a nice, if cliche, red bow on her head. Every anime girl's gotta have a signature accessory, and god damn it, this is hers. As such, she's aptly named the Bundle of Sunshine. Damn straight. In any case, there's a couple other key Sayori moments we should talk about, and we'll be saving the confessions until later. First up, yeah, sure hope no one was looking at your monitor when that popped up. But I had to include it. I couldn't just not include it. Not only does Main talk about what he sees in Sayori in the scene, her boundless optimism and ability to bring things up in life, but we see what she sees in him, even if she's on his case for a while. They take better care of each other than they do themselves, which ends up with Main adjusting Sayori's blazer. Despite the rude comments, Sayori does appreciate him, even if in the end she does just go back to wearing the blazer messily. All the while she basically says she doesn't need a boyfriend because she has Maine. Come on, dude. She is like literally throwing herself at you, bro. Literally, Christ's sake. Not that he's much better when he says later she's the only exciting thing in his life. These two really are hopeless. After Sayori is tasked to get some supplies to make flyers with, she enlists Maine to help her. They banter for a bit about the festival, and we see more of her childish side, labeling this as a mission. Main goes with it, though, saying she's awakening a feeling he didn't know he still had in him. Some hijinks ensue while they're getting their supplies, and Sayori smacks her forehead against a shelf. Maine gets her some apple juice for her head, and then...
Hey, Maine. This kinda reminds you of growing up, doesn't it? I would always try to keep up with you. You were kind of oblivious in some ways. Like, I usually fell behind or had trouble climbing on the things you did. But sometimes when I tried to do things I couldn't, I would get myself hurt, and I would start crying really hard. And you would rush over to me as quick as you could. You would try really hard to get me to stop crying. It was almost like you blamed yourself and were afraid of getting in trouble if someone found out. Even though it really wasn't your fault at all, you know?
Did I really do that?
Yeah, you don't remember?
I guess I was always so focused on my game that I didn't pay enough attention to you. So, in a way, it was my fault. Kind of like this time, too.
Maine, I don't think you realize it, but you're always thinking about other people. Even after all these years, you're rushing to help me, even though I'm just being clumsy. You really are a sweetheart. I'm so glad nothing's changed between us. Do you think it'll be like this forever?
If I'm honest to myself, there's no telling where we'll each end up for college, or after that, so it wouldn't be fair for me to make any promises. But, well, I hope so. The scene really encapsulates how they care about each other, why they care about each other, and their history with one another. That's the thing with Sayori's characterization here. It kind of uses her trope of the Genki girl, the dere dere, the childhood friend, all these familiar, very ubiquitous tropes to use against you in a way. Like, it uses your expectations of these tropes to paint a very familiar picture. And that's the point of the picture. You've seen all of these things before, and that's what Sayori embodies. And this scene embodies that connection, that history between you and this abstracted version of your childhood memories with someone. And it's really interesting to look at. There's also the fact of like Sayori and Maine, they both blame themselves for whatever occurs to Sayori or even Maine. Like specifically in the falling down, like Sayori hurting herself, you can see she's prone to saying it was her fault. She's just being clumsy. She's just being herself, being a mess, being a problem that he has to take care of. But Maine doesn't really see it that way. He always sees it as not her being a problem, not her being in the way, but something he just didn't pay enough attention to. We get time rhyming with itself. It's in that inattentiveness that they give to either their surroundings or each other that causes one or the other or both to be hurt, to misunderstand how the other's feeling, which rings true even at the end of Sayori's life. These characters, these friends that were really close, weren't always on the same page like they thought they were. And this scene really shows that they aren't so absolutely aware of each other and how each other works like they think they are. They have something they haven't explored because it's derived from something they already know, but it's twisted into a weird, uncomfortable thing. That fear of not knowing what the other needs, not knowing what to do, that Maine feels later because of Sayori's depression, its roots are in the same sort of deal. But we're not done here. We have more to talk about. Self-aware Sayori is something I don't see enough discussion on. In the neutral ending, she's obsessed with you, just like Monica was, and is swiftly deleted along with everything else by Monica. In the secret ending, where you delete Monica before the game even starts, we see Sayori, at least for a moment, endure the very same epiphany that Monica talks about, and the game ends with her killing herself and deleting everything. Now everyone can be happy. I know it's sort of heartless to call this interesting, but it really is. Whether it's a matter of that being her fate or if it's the only way she saw to escape this hell, you'd think a self-aware Sayori wouldn't see the need to make a noose and do all this.
Of course, it's heartbreaking to see a less aware Sayori decide the only way everyone can be happy is to off herself, but here, she could have just deleted everything, and that would have been it. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast. What you might assume is just a cute character moment for Sayori when she forgets about the poem assignment works double time as a subtle hint. But Maine doesn't see that. Of course he doesn't. He isn't looking at it that way because that's not what Sayori is to him. That's not what Sayori is to us, either. She's trapped in this perception of her, the very same perception she keeps up pretty much all the time to keep everyone around her happy. That idea then gets expanded upon with her next poem, Bottles. She gives away all her energy and happiness to the people around her, only to be left with nothing. From here, the veil is lifted evermore, and Sayori starts acting weird. But not her usual fun, quirky weird. Odd weird. Scary weird. Unusual weird. Because we aren't used to her acting like this. It all seems to come to a head if you're on her route, though. She leaves early, yeah, but it's what she says before that. She says all this stuff about how it would be so much easier if she could just hide her feelings from us. When Maine questions her, she just apologizes for letting that show. She apologizes for crying in front of him and promises it won't happen again. And then we're here. It's Sunday, and we're outside her house, going through her front door into the darkness and then into her room. The day you're supposed to be helping with the festival is swiftly interrupted because you wanted to check on Sayori. What always strikes me most about this scene is just how tender it is. Maybe it's the music, maybe it's Sayori's expressions, maybe it's the seemingly dying plants and the calendar with an entire month crossed out. Maybe it's the stuffed animals and the scattered bits of clothing. But for certain, it's the way she talks about her depression. The way Sayori communicates has always been funny to me. From the cutesy giggles to the rain cloud and sunshine talk, she's always pretty matter of fact with everything, but also innocent, childish. It makes things like her describing how it feels to be cared about, or how she describes her depression in general, weigh in your mind. After she says stuff like, being cared about feels like a bat being swung against her head, he has no idea how to react. This guy who up until now knew exactly what to say, exactly how to help, is suddenly and abruptly shut up, forced to linger in an uncertainty he was never made for. He leaves and enjoys himself, forgetting about it for a while. But just when whoever you picked for the weekend gets a little too close, she's there. Now it's you two again. She tells you it makes her happy to see you get close to others, but it clearly hurts her, and by now she can't hold it back, asking why it hurts so much, why she can't just be happy for you. She says it'd be easier if she could just disappear. But more than that, more than all those bad feelings, she's scared. Scared that she likes you more than you like her. And after reassuring her you know what's best, and reestablishing that she trusts you wholeheartedly, you're given a choice. And what gets me every time is that this is inevitable, and there's no right answer. No matter what you do before this, no matter if you completely ignore Sayori, she will always love you. And no matter what you choose here, she will always die. And Maine is always devastated, always regretting that he didn't give her what she needed, that he couldn't help his best friend. If you get every CG in the game, you get a special, secret ending. It's nothing flashy, it's not an extra act, or some secret CG. It's just a heartfelt conversation with Sayori. And for perhaps the last time this video, there will be a dramatic reading for it. In the meantime, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Until next time, this is Luminescent signing off. Stay awesome. I really want to thank you. I mean, I'm really happy that you joined the club and everything, but the truth is, I already knew you were going to. There's actually something else. I wanted to thank you for spending so much time with us all. You worked so hard to make each and every one of us happy. You comforted us through our hard times, and you helped us get along with each other. Do you get it, Maine? You really didn't want to miss a single thing in this game, did you? You saved and loaded so many times just to make sure you could spend time with everyone. Only someone who truly cares about the literature club would go that far. All along, that's all I ever wanted. For everyone to be happy and care about each other. It's kinda sad, you know? After all you've done for us, there isn't much I can do for you in return. We've already reached the end of the game, so this is where we say goodbye. Thank you for playing Doki Doki Literature Club. Come visit sometime, okay? We'll always be here for you. We... we all love you.